All right, you asked for it, you've got it. I did electric guitar brand tier list, I don't know, about a month ago, and I had a lot of people request an acoustic one, so I was like, you know what, I'll do it. I didn't get a lot of hate for the electric one, so I have a lot of positive feelings about this one that I can stir up some strife here on the interwebs about which guitar brand, which acoustic guitar brand you think is best. And I'm going to do this one according to a bell curve, so there has to be some in the F category, there has to be some in the S. You know, most of the stuff's going to fall in the middle, and the criteria for this is I have to have had first-hand experience with these brands. So here you go. All right, gonna start at the bottom. Probably the worst guitar I've ever played for an acoustic is a Rogue, and that's what it's meant to be. It's a very inexpensive entry-level guitar, but really I would go look for a used brand in the C or B tier list when they come up. And if you've played a Rogue, that's awesome. Let me know in the comments below. But that's probably my worst one. And right next to that, although I don't think they're as bad, is a Mitchell. I think this is a house brand for Guitar Center, and I worked at Guitar Center for a long time, and I played a lot of these guitars, and they just were not very good, in my humble opinion. If there is any hate that's going to come from this video, I think it's going to be from the D tier list, because I know a lot of people play these guitars, and there's nothing against them, but my biggest complaint with every guitar in this tier list, and there's 3 of them, 3 different brands, is the tone, and most of that is because a lot of these guitar models for these brands have laminated tops, and they just don't sound that good to me. Solid wood tops always sound better, but the first one in this category is Washburn. This is probably the best one in this category, actually, to me. I haven't played a ton of these, but the ones I have played, I've been like, but I have played a few that are pretty good. And another thing that I should say throughout all of these brands, I'm looking at these as a brand overall, because Martin, for example, has very inexpensive ones, or more inexpensive than very expensive ones. So I'm looking at them as an overall thing, not at just the expensive ones, middle price ones, or just the cheap ones. The next one for this list, and I'm not gonna lie, these guitars or this brand does a good job at making their guitars look really good, but a lot of them are laminated tops, and I just don't think they sound very good, and that's Ibanez. And I've played a ton of Ibanez acoustic guitars. I will say that they play pretty great. They come set up pretty well, but the sound, I just can't do it. They look pretty good too. So the last one in this D tier, and this one may surprise you, but it's Fender. I kind of put that in the same category as Ibanez. A lot of them with the laminated tops, and even some, I don't know why, but some of the solid tops just don't sound that great to me. And I know a lot of these acoustic guitars are made in the same factories, but I'm kind of putting that out of my mind and just giving my opinions here for the brand as a whole. And my opinion in $5 will get you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Okay, one guitar brand that I wish I saw more of in general that I like, but especially for electrics, but I like a little bit less for acoustic, is Guild. And I just find them to be a little bit lifeless. I have played a lot, or a few that I really like, but a lot of them I'm like, that's okay. I can't say that about the electric as much. The electrics I like a little bit more. They'd be in like B tier list to me if I had played more of them, which I haven't. But Guild, C tier. Let's see, next one. This may surprise some people too, because I love their electrics. I think this brand was in the B tier list for the electric, Gretsch. I don't know, like just something about the construction, the sound, just the sound mainly, not the looks, not the feel, but the sound of Gretsch guitars is a little bit lacking to me in volume and like openness. Definitely a tear down from where the electrics are. Let's see, next, and this is an extremely popular brand, especially for around the $500 to $700 mark, but a lot of them look really good, but they don't sound that good to me. And obviously, like, I'm going by sound here, that's my main criteria, but Takamine, and this isn't always the case. Again, this is as a brand as a whole, all the way from like their $200 stuff all the way up to like their $1,200 stuff. They just sound a little bit thin to me and lacking in the low end department, but you may like that. You may like your guitar to have more high end and more mids. So now this next one I'm a little bit conflicted about, because I really like Epiphone Master Built series guitars. I think they're incredible value for the money. All solid wood guitars, but like on a brand as a whole with their cheaper stuff included, I would put Epiphone in the C tier list. Epiphone Master Built, I'd probably put in B, but all their cheaper stuff or the other stuff that's not all solid wood kind of brings the whole brand down to a C tier list to me. All right, B tier list has the most brands overall, and again, this is another one I'm conflicted about, because I own an Alvarez Yari, and I consider that like an A tier list because it's a handmade guitar from Japan, solid wood, or some of them are all solid wood, but a lot of the more inexpensive stuff doesn't sound that great to me. So I put that in the C tier list. I would put the Yari stuff in the A tier list, and that kind of averages out for a B. Hurts me to say, but it's true. Next, and this one is, this guitar, this brand is kind of in a class all of its own because it's so different. I don't want to say weird, but it's so different, and that's Ovation. I've played a lot of really good sounding Ovations over the years, but they definitely have their own unique sound, and in general, I think they feel pretty good too, but they are different. They're very polarizing. Either you love the sound or you don't like it, and you don't like the round back and the feel of that. So, you know, that's more of a personal thing as far as the guitar, but I think the more expensive ones sound really good and the less expensive ones sound decent. Larrivee guitars next. I think this is a really high quality brand. The only reason, and this is more of a personal thing than it is like, oh, well, it's the materials or the build or whatever, but just the sound of guitars to me in general doesn't appeal to me as much. It might be in an A tier for you, and I would totally understand that. It might be in a C tier for you, but Larrivee falls kind of right in the middle to me. It's a really solid quality guitar with a good sound that's just not for me. Seagull guitars, I think, are one of the best values for the money. The S6 is incredible, and anything from there up just sounds better and better. The solid top on those guitars, the cedar one, sounds really good, and you get really good electronics on the ones that come with electronics. So I think it's a really good value for the money. Kind of along those same lines is Yamaha. I think they make some of the best starter guitars for the money. And matter of fact, I just did a video on the best starter or beginner acoustic guitar for $200, and it was a Yamaha. And they're very consistent. Like the farther up you go, you kind of get diminishing returns for Yamaha. But if you want to spend just the minimum amount of money to get into acoustic guitar, but you want something with a solid top and a good sound, I think Yamaha is super solid. All right, next, the only reason this brand is in the B tier list and not the A tier list is consistency. I can pick up one of these guitars and be like, that is awesome. I can pick up the same model and be like, that does not do it for me at all. And that's kind of the same with their electrics too, and that's Gibson. I know it's high quality parts, high quality craftsmanship, but the quality control and the consistency just has issues for me. So, okay, the next three brands to me are just different flavors in the spectrum, all the same kind of quality, but it depends if you want more of a traditional vibe, a more modern vibe, a brighter vibe, and just the feel of the guitars. I think they're all about the same quality, and they're all really great. My dad is a huge Martin fan, and I always have been too, but I don't even own one. My dad does though. They have kind of a deeper sound that's more traditional, so I really like them for that. And the other part of the spectrum, kind of the opposite of this, is Taylor. They make really good quality guitars. They're brighter, more modern sounding, and just another like an overall take that's kind of the same quality level as Breedlove. I really like their guitars. They're a very different vibe from both of these. Lean a little more towards like the Taylor modern, bright kind of thing, but a really different feel. And obviously, the last one for this is Collings guitars. The Collings plant is like 7 miles away from my parents' house, so I did visit there, and every Collings acoustic guitar I've ever played has just blown my socks off. There are a lot of guitar brands out there like Santa Cruz, Olson, that I haven't played that I suspect would be kind of on the same level as Collings, but again, I have to limit this to just stuff that I've had a lot of first-hand experience with. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this tier list, where you think these brands should be, your own personal opinion with your experience, or different brands that you have a lot of experience with that you think should have been here and what tier you would have put them in. I'll see you later.